Hi, and welcome to the Digilent and chipKIT contest entry video. This is for contestant ck763. The platform or the contest entry is called NetVox. NetVox is basically a combination of software and hardware. The hardware is a little daughter board that sits on top of the Digilent platform. The daughter board basically has an onboard micro SD card. It has analog audio output and input, has selection jumpers for which PWM channel to use for the analog audio out, and also which A to D channel to use for audio in. There's also 4 user LEDs and a couple of general purpose I/O buttons for user interaction. I guess this could be extended to support more buttons or more LEDs if required. That's all that was required for this entry, so it is fairly minimalistic from that perspective. So what is NetVox? NetVox is basically a combination of the software underlying the hardware, which allows the PIC32 to utilize internet services such as text-to-speech and text translation services to basically bring forth a whole other dimension to embedded applications. Assuming that your platform is connected to the internet, you are able to basically take and render any sort of speech prompts or any sort of textual prompts as text, any sort of textual prompts as audio, and present those to the user. So from that perspective, it gives a whole dimension potentially to any sort of embedded applications that you might be designing. What is also interesting is the underlying platform exposes a whole set of new services, such as a generic HTTP GET software library, which then also allows you to use that library to do things like retrieve any web connected data to the onboard SD card, or potentially even send information that you might be reading from sensors or various other things directly to a web server out on the internet. So it becomes truly a generic kind of two-way communication platform. So the code is already compiled. I'm just going to upload the compiled object into the platform and let it execute. The first thing that the application will attempt to do is make sure that it has a valid IP address and that it can reach out onto the internet. Then it'll wait for me to use one of the 2 push button contacts to either get a resource off the web to basically as a simple web pull and translate that into text, or the second one is actually a combination of pulling down a web page, extracting textual information from it, and then sending that off for translation to actually a different language, and also for text. There are a few samples that are stored on disk in case, for example, the web connection is unavailable. Those can be played back from disk, so that certain types of speech samples you can also embed in your application, and you do not require to have a web connection for them. The ability to create these is actually made easier by a standalone application which runs under Windows, which is also included with the contest entry source code. So you can create these samples at will for your chosen language and your chosen messages and embed those into your application. So we'll get that going here, and we'll let the platform speak for itself. I'll switch over to a serial console, which is connected to the UART on the PIC32.
I am now connected and ready.
So the platform has indicated that it has a successful connection. The window displays the current IP address. If I disconnect the internet connection, it will
Sorry, but no internet connection is available.
it'll let us know that, and then once again, once the connection is
I am
reestablished,
now connected and ready.
it'll let us know that as well. So let us pull in the current date and time. That is the web page which I requested.
It is now Tuesday, May 14, 2013 at 12:55:19 p.m.
I can obviously do this as many times as I want to, but we'll pull in the
Your
second one.
fortune is, don't tell me I'm burning the candle at both ends, tell me where to get more wax.
Ne me dites pas que je béère. La chandelle parlait debout me dire oh, trouvez plus de cire.
So what has happened there is basically it pulled in a web page, extracted text from it. This is a random fortune generator web page which I found on the internet, and it spoke that, then sent it off for machine translation, and then pulled down the machine translation and did a text-to-speech on it, and also spoke that. So we can do another pull-in of the time.
It is now Tuesday, May 14, 2013 at 12:56:13 p.m.
And we'll put in another random fortune.
Your fortune is, a transistor protected by a fast-acting fuse will protect the fuse by blowing first.
Un transistor protégé par un fusible. Action rapide protégera le fusible en soufflant premier.
So in this case, Google's text-to-speech services are limited to 100 characters. So some of the fortunes which can be pulled off the web page can be quite long, a number of lines. And so what happens is the application will ignore those fortunes and attempt to re-get another fortune until one that fits into the 100 character limit is found. So this concludes the demo, and hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned at the end of the demo for a little bit more discussion of the underlying libraries.
It is now Tuesday, May 14, 2013 at 12:57:55 p.m.